Greeting Hotel. This is Qidr, coming to you live to drop some science on you. I got a special guest with me tonight. She goes by the name of Elle. I'm not going to show her on the camera because she wishes to remain anonymous right now. We're going to be discussing in-depthly on a topic that tends to be kind of taboo in the conscious community, but it does coincide with a lot of the knowledge and a lot of the things that we experience, and intermediations as far as external forces, and in order to evolve consciously into the higher stuff, you must be able to embrace all aspects of all things, So, what I want to discuss tonight is the topic of the extraterrestrials and how they apply to us as indigenous people, and as into metaphysics and just exopolitics in history, basically, because we do have an otherworldly origin. Everything just didn't start here. So hopefully there can be some enlightenment, and through your meeting of this video and actually watching this video, that synchronicity, there's a reason you're watching this. So here's some knowledge for you. I'll be posing a question and answer format for Mrs. L, and hopefully you can get something out of this video. All right. Well, Miss L, the first thing I want to ask you about is, what is your outlook on extraterrestrials and how they play a part in everything that's going on right now?
Okay, well, extraterrestrial beings are just organic beings like we are. I've researched independently a field that I coined aleontology. It is not a recognized or scientifically respected area of study, but I've been studying for a long time for various reasons, and some of the reasons are personal. But extraterrestrials are organic beings. You have ultra-dimensionals, you have other off-world or extra, quote-unquote, type of beings, but the ETs, the ones that we can see, feel, and touch, are, or sense, organically, would be some of the ones along the lines of reptilians, with some called grays, the shorts, the talls, the childlike ones. There's a whole roster of different types. But the ones that I seem to gravitate towards more, especially on a curiosity level, is the reptilian, because I don't even know if it's an appropriate denotation to call them extraterrestrials. They could, and probably very well are, the primary terrestrials of Earth, meaning that chances are they were probably here before anybody was here. If we look at the reptilian species-wise, and the characteristics, we know them to be shy. We know them to not really interact. They tend to be, they operate as a hive or a collective. They're very intelligent. They're very psychic. They're very advanced, and you can find a reptilian genotype in most life forms, locally and probably beyond. The genotype is very much so advanced, more so than the mammalian. When you think of it in comparison, the reptilian can alter its appearance by thought, can adjust its appearance for survival means, meaning that camouflage itself, it could shapeshift, intense psychic abilities, those that can hypnotize their prey, mind control, the works. But reptilians are generally a shy race, and they don't seem to, I don't believe them to be the aggressors that New Agers claim that they are.
Right.
So I think there's a lot that isn't known. I think there's a huge misconception. There is a propaganda machine that's been growing through agents, intelligence agents like David Icke, who is known to be associated with or work for MI5 or MI6. These are British intelligence agencies. And, and I also think that there are huge undertones of racism, which would be the unspoken undertone when we talk about reptilians, because there are groups or so-called races here on Earth that have closer genetic ties with the reptilians.
Right, and brothers and sisters, if you go online and you research the things about reptilians that they have posted, a lot of the reptilians are demonized, and we know that in the propaganda, in order to desensitize the masses and keep the truth hidden from us, they always make it like it's opposite day. You know what I mean? And if you look on there, none but bad things are said about reptilians. Why are they pushing so much evil on this reptilian thing? Now, as far as my own research and study, and I do consider Elle as a master when it comes to this subject, and she's been a mentor to me and has revealed a lot to me, things I didn't really understand that were going on, I was seeing in my visions, and experiencing. So, as far as the reptilian and the original beings, indigenous people, how does that play part with the genetics and the vibrational frequency, how it coincides with the reptilian aspect? And also, could you also cover what a reptilian really is, not so much, in its form, because a lot of people think reptilian, they think of a lizard person, and, through my research, I've found that the reptilian is a primordial genotype that exists on different frequencies, not necessarily always physical. But could you just reiterate on that as far as how that applies to the original peoples?
Yes. Well, most original, I'm not going to say indigenous because that word was created with a hateful context. It means an abhorrible group. Abhor means to hate. So I'm going to say the original bloodlines, melanated people, highly melanated people, have always had a connection with the serpent. From the Aborigines to the Native Americans, Saxons, all original bloodlines have some connection to the serpent. And that says it all to me. I mean, if the serpent was interacting with these earlier Earth families, teaching them things, healing them, showing them how to heal themselves, awakening centers in them that allowed them to connect with higher frequencies, and that's telling you right there that the reptilian or the specific type of serpent reptilian, which I would connect, is obviously a positive force to original people. To non-original people, of course, it would seem as threatening, and just like today, it would mirror the fear that a lot of races have. Racism is born out of fear and out of a sense of insecurity, of feeling that you need to prove yourself as higher, or there's serious insecurity factors in racism, and I think that that's where a lot of the hate comes from. Unfortunately, a lot of the original people are not connected. They're disconnected with their spiritual, with their natural spiritual hand, and with that, adapted to religious programs and institutions that teach the opposite of what the original natural spiritual-based belief systems entailed, which was a deep connection with the mother sphere, which is the earth, and higher spirituality. Also, to answer part of your question, the Kundalini force is known to be a serpent in nature. And getting into metaphysics, I'm a very logical speaker. I am very metaphysical, but there is a huge connection with the serpent. With certain serpent worshipping, Kundalini energy, and that frequency in highly melanated people.
So, speaking on that and the Kundalini and the ascending serpentine energy, do you perceive that the reptilian could actually be representation of the God self? Being that the reptilian has been a primordial force, not so much as, like I said, lizard people, but as the progenitor. You know what I mean? And that's why they said they try to bastardize it and keep us away from the knowledge of our family, basically, or energies that flow in us.